Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of our weekly reset. On this week's episode, we are going to be discussing self awareness, why it is important, and 5 key factors that will help you be more self aware in almost every area of your life. So, I did a training, not really a training, but I did a class on self awareness a few years ago with my Women Transform Tribe. And I really feel like it was helpful. It enlightened a lot of them to really understand because a lot of us don't like to tap into our thoughts and feelings and things like that because we don't, some of us may not want to be vulnerable. Some of us may be, afraid because we know that there are just some areas that we would like to grow in, but we really don't know how to address that, or maybe we're just afraid to address it in general. So I'm here today to kind of reiterate for those of you who are continuing your journey with me. And for those of you who are new, I hope that this episode really helps you and also enlightens you on the importance of being self aware. So, I'm going to start with the definition of awareness. So, the first definition, I have two. The first definition is a conscious knowledge of one's own character, feelings, motives, and desires. The second one is the ability to focus on yourself. So I'm going to start with the first one. I want you to be interactive during this episode. I want you to really write down how you feel in this moment, in the present, not worrying about the past, not thinking about the future, but how do you feel about your current character, your current motives, and what your desires are. So I really want you to take the time to be present in that moment and really think about how you feel about that, your character, your motives, and your desires. Okay. So I know for some of you, it may be deep. And for some of you, it may not be too deep, but it's definitely something important because, a lot of us, I'm pretty sure there are areas where we do desire to grow. And we want to see change within ourselves, but like I said, we're either afraid or we just don't know how to get started and what that process looks like for us, because it does take work to unbecome to become something greater. All right. So just think about that for a little bit. So as you're thinking about that, I want to talk about why it is important. And I have a lot of notes for this video, but I'm going to try to go through it um, as quickly as possible. But why being self aware is important, because it is the foundation for how you think, act, and relate to others. When you understand your own thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, everything else improves from there. So, again, it's being very conscious of yourself, of your emotions, of your behaviors, how you act, how you respond. What are your triggers, right? So really think about that. So in order to really think about that and to be self-aware, you have to be present. And I wanted to throw that in there because for myself, I used to think about the past all the time, and or I would worry about the future. So I was never really present. So I was never really self-aware. And then I would wonder why I would react to something, and then after a while be like, I probably shouldn't have said that, or I probably could have handled this a little better. And that was because I was not present on what the trigger was, or what my behavior was, or how it made me feel in that moment. And then it also helps you regulate your emotions. So now we're getting into the 5 areas or the 5 things that will help you become self-aware. So the first one is emotional regulation. So being aware lets you notice what you're feeling in real time. So I posted a short the other day talking about how I received a phone call while I was at work. And instead of me reacting, I tapped into how I felt and what I needed in that moment. And in that particular moment, I needed to pray. And that's what I did. I prayed and then I moved on with my day. I didn't let it ruin my day. I didn't let it keep me upset for the entire day. I just did what I had to do. I released it and I moved on. So it is really important for us to learn to regulate our emotions and not let things or people have our emotions up and down, because that's not healthy. It causes, diseases, autoimmune disorders, all types of things when we're constantly walking in fight or flight, or we're constantly walking around stressed and not regulating our emotions and really being present in how we feel and how we should handle certain situations. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is it benefits healthier relationships. So not only do we need to be self aware of how we feel, we also have to be aware of how we make other people feel. So, you may be able to communicate with one person this way, but with another person, you may have to communicate a different way. So, understanding how you have to operate in different spaces. And I know a lot of people don't like the code switching and things like that. I'm not really talking about that. I'm just talking about, for us who may have multiple children, you may be able to talk to one child this way, and then the other child, you may have to talk to them a different way because they don't understand, or they're not being receptive of the other form of communication that you are using to assist them. So that's the second one. So the third one is decision making. So when you're aware of your triggers, habits, and values, you're less likely to act in impulse. So it will allow you to make better decisions. It will allow you to understand, okay, I can't be in that environment because when I'm in that environment, I see this person, or if this happens, I know that I'm going to react this way. So it allows you to trust yourself to make better decisions for you, putting yourself in more healthy situations, putting yourself in more healthy, productive relationships. All right. So that's three. Four, personal growth. Personal growth. It just helps you personally, how you think, how you act, how you make decisions, how you regulate your emotions, and it helps you identify your strengths and your weaknesses. What are you good at? What are some areas and some things that you need more work in? And I always say this, and I think I've said this on another video that I posted, but God uses your weaknesses a lot. Things that you feel like you're not the best at, um, things that you may be running from. Like for me, when I started my podcast, I did not want to start it. Like I went back and forth with God for a very long time. One, I do not like listening to myself talk. So it took a long time for me to get out of my way and get out of that and allow God to use the areas that I may not like the most, or the area that I feel like I struggle in the most. I like when it came to school and doing projects and you had to present, I was not that student. I did not want to do that at all. But again, you have to learn to face your fears and build it. So as I continued, my podcast and things like that, God continued to build confidence. And that's the fifth one. Confidence. It builds your confidence when you are self aware. So when you identify your triggers, when you identify what you need in moments of dysregulation and getting to the point where you can regulate your own emotions, it builds confidence in you and how you operate through the day, how you operate when you walk into certain rooms. And people understand that no matter what they do or what they say to you, it's not going to get you out of character. So, that word again, character. How do you feel about your character currently? So, as you're working through, these five things when it comes to being self aware, really take your time with it. Really understand what you need, again, being present, what you need in those moments of dysregulation, of decision making, and it the emotional regulation is definitely a big one for me. It's very, very, very important for us to really understand what we're feeling. And I know I say that a lot, but I feel like with everything that's going on, it is very important for us to really learn how to regulate our emotions. I think that's the biggest for a lot of people. That and decision making. A lot of us don't trust ourselves to make certain decisions. And that's good that you understand that. But now we have to get to a place where we trust ourselves to make certain decisions. And that's being aware of what needs to change and what you need to do. So, again, I want you to really think about, how do you feel about your character? How do you feel about your motives? And how do you feel about your current desires? And then from there, go through all of the five things that I discussed. And I'm pretty sure it's more, but those are the main five things that I feel like are important when it comes to being self aware. All right. So I pray that this video encouraged you and it helped you and it enlightened you on what it means to be self-aware and how it can really truly help you in your personal growth and in your decision making and in your confidence. Because we got to walk around like we know who we are. And I pray that we take the necessary steps. And I say we because I'm still working through it as well. And also understanding every season things may change. Next year, you may not be the same person that you are in this moment. So a lot of those areas may change, and that's okay. That's okay. I think people get stuck on maybe not as much now, but some people may get stuck on I used to like this, but now I don't like it anymore. Now I'm into this. That's okay. That's a part of growth. That's a part of maturing. You're entering into a different season in your life, and that's okay. So don't think that being self-aware is just a one-stop shop. No, it's going to change as you mature, as you experience life, as you go from one season to the next. It's going to change. And that is okay. That is absolutely okay. So again, thank you all for joining me for this week's weekly reset. I hope that it helped you. If you feel like you need to share, make sure you share this video and you subscribe. All right. Thank you.